welcome. First thing we're going to do is introduce our cameraman.
Hello, I'm Pete.
Thank you, and now what we're going to do is introduce our audience members.
I'm Bubba.
I'm Josh.
I'm Victoria.
Hello, I'm Pat.
I'm Flora.
Thank you all so much for coming. What I'd like to do is talk to you today about a habit that affects 99% of the American population. Now this habit, much like drug and alcohol dependency, adversely affects behavior, mentally, physically, and emotionally. It even harms society in general. This habit I'm talking about is watching television. Let me give you some stats. In 2011, the United States Department of Labor found that television watching was the most time-consuming and common leisure activity among Americans over the age of 15. California State University professor Norman Herr in 2007 found that adults were watching 3 hours of television on average every day. Children, 4 hours every day. What this means is that kids were viewing 14 murders every week, 213 acts of violence, and 591 commercials. John Nelson, former president of the American Medical Association, has said that 2,888 out of 3,000 studies all confirm that television violence is at least a casual factor in real-life violence. Simply stating, this is a public health problem. Rutgers University professor and psychologist Robert Kuby has said that heavy television viewers exhibit 5 dependency signs, 2 more than necessary to arrive at a diagnosis for clinical substance abuse. University of Texas Health Science Center in Houston has found that the combination of heavy television viewing and low activity results in obesity in children and adolescents. Clearly, this is a problem. Television watching can be harmful and abusive. Shoot, we gotta stop. Damn, have to come out.
Pete!
I knew it.
It's only a 10-minute speech.
What happened?
You left. You totally screwed me up. You walked out.
You're cute, man.
You threw her off.
You totally threw me off.
I was just putting the meat out there.
Hi, thank you all for coming. The first thing we're going to do is introduce our cameraman.
Hello, I'm Pete.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to introduce our audience members.
I'm Bubba.
I'm Josh.
I'm Victoria.
Hello, I'm Pat.
Hi, I'm Flora.
Thank you all so much for coming. I'm going to talk to you today about a habit that affects 99% of the American population. Much like drug and alcohol dependency, this habit adversely affects behavior, mental behavior, physical behavior, emotional behavior. It harms you also in societal ways. This habit I'm talking about is watching television. Let me give you some statistics. In 2011, the U.S. Department of Labor found that television viewing was the most common and time-consuming leisure activity among Americans over the age of 15. California State University professor Norman Herr in 2007 found that adults were watching 3 hours of television every day, children 4 hours every day. What this means is that kids were watching 14 murders every week on television, 213 acts of violence, and 591 television commercials. John Nelson, former president of the American Medical Association, has said that 2,888 out of 3,000 studies all indicate that television violence is at least a casual factor in real-life violence. He's been quoted as saying, "This is a public health problem." Rutgers University professor and psychologist Robert Kuby has said that heavy television viewers exhibit 5 dependency signs, which is 2 more than is necessary to arrive at a clinical diagnosis for substance abuse. University of Texas Health Science Center in Houston has done a study which said that the combination of high television watching and low physical engagement results in obesity in children and adolescents. Clearly, heavy television viewing is harmful and addictive. We might ask ourselves right now, how do we solve this problem? What I suggest is that we get rid of the televisions altogether. By eliminating television in your home, you will experience an increase to your health, happiness, and sense of self-worth. If you don't have TV as an option, you automatically have to find something else to do, whether it be a physical activity or a mental activity. Engaging in physical activity obviously increases your general health. Increasing your mentally challenging activities increases your brain function and your memory retention. There are many other benefits to eliminating your television. If you're not watching TV, you're also not watching all those television ads. So many of those ads adversely affect your sense of self, your self-confidence, and your body image. Poor body image is detrimental to intimate relationships. And let's face it, watching TV is not a romantic activity. Spending quality time with your intimate partner strengthens relationships. And not watching TV in bed gives you time to do other things in bed. When you spend quality time with your children doing family activities, what you're doing is you're teaching them your moral values. You can't do that while they're glued to the tube. You will teach them communication skills, relationship skills, and you will form a bond between you and your children that won't be broken. Television violence is not the only, television violence not only contributes to real life violence, it also creates unnecessary fear in children. Some of the other things that you might consider when you're engaging in other activities besides watching television, you might be expanding your interest, a hobby, or maybe making new interests. And in so doing, you're going to maybe meet other people with like interests. You're going to make new friends. Another thing that you might do with your time is volunteer work, which will help society in general. Another benefit, which people don't always think about, is financial. If you're not watching television, you're not using that electricity. You can probably eliminate your cable bill, and for the financially driven, you might use that extra time to start a business on the side. Go back to school or learn a new skill that might increase your desirability in the job market. Clearly, there are lots of benefits to eliminating television from your home. But why, you might be asking yourself, do I have to get rid of it? An alcoholic who quits drinking doesn't keep the booze in his house. If you decide to quit watching TV, but don't get rid of it, your resolve will crumble upon temptation and stress. You need to get rid of your television, and I'm going to tell you how to do that. It's called the 30-day challenge. The adults in the house need to decide, we are going to get rid of our television and we are going to commit to 30 days. Once that decision has been made, adults need to gather any children in the home and tell them of the decision and reassure them everything's going to be fine, we're going to have a great time, you're not going to be bored. After that, unplug those TVs, get them out of the house, take them to the home of a friend or a neighbor. When you return, you're going to need to rearrange your furniture and your decorations to cover the space left by the missing televisions. This is a psychological trick. If you don't see the space where the TV is supposed to be, you won't be thinking about the TV as much. Then, I want you to print a calendar, a blank calendar for 30 days, and on each day, I want you to write a different activity, an activity that would take up the time normally spent watching television. You need to seek support because you will have stress, you will have whining children. Have somebody you can call outside of the home who's sympathetic to your cause. You can also go online and seek support through the internet. Take the challenge, get rid of your TVs, plan your activities, seek support. Support is so important. When alcoholics quit drinking, they'll stand in front of the Alcoholics Anonymous and they'll say, I'm so-and-so, I've been sober for 5 years or 5 minutes, whatever it is. But before they get to that point, a lot of times they'll be saying to themselves, this doesn't apply to me. I don't drink that much. I have it under control. You might be saying the same things to yourselves, to me, about watching television. I'm not accusing anybody of being a television addict. I speak from experience. When I separated from my husband, my kids and I moved into a small apartment with no money and no furniture. Well, a little furniture. We had a TV, but it was broken. And I never heard of any 30-day challenge, but I didn't have money to fix this TV. And it took about a month before the kids quit asking me, when are we going to get the TV fixed? We have been television free in this home now for 4 years, and I can tell you, it is the best decision I ever made. You will not regret it. Take this challenge. Get rid of your televisions. It will improve your life. I would not be standing here before you right now, giving this speech after 2 decades, if I were still glued to the tube. You will not regret it. It will change your life for the better. Does anybody have any questions?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
What if you can't take your TV to a friend or neighbor's house?
The second best thing would be for you to take your televisions, put them in your garage, and cover them with a sheet.
No.
Anyways.
Question as a youth, how about texting and online gaming?
You know what? When I was researching this topic, I really thought about that. I limit my son's computer time and gaming time, but I chose this one not only because I don't watch TV, but because this affects 99% of the American population. That doesn't really apply to texting.
Well, I've got a few questions, but mainly I don't have any idea what I would do besides TV. It's just such a rooted part of my lifestyle. Are there suggestions to some things that I could do besides TV?
Actually, I'm really glad you said something. Because I'm so passionate about this issue, I created a handout, which I will pass out at the end of our Q&A, and it's 30 things to do in 30 days, either in and around your home or around the Houston area that's either free or just about free.
All right, that's great.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What if I'm 100% for this challenge, but my husband isn't?
Oh, that's a tough one because you really do need to be on the same page. What I would suggest is that you bombard him with facts, which you can get from the internet and the library. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.